Hello, I'm Aifel, and let's talk more about Maestro, and let's go even deeper into the section editor. So we go into original here so we can count the bars. Let's see, this is bar number 3, and this is bar number 7. Okay, so notice here that they don't have to be in order, they just cannot overlap. So if this is 22, for example, and we want to have it after, we have to start with 23 or 24 or something. We cannot they cannot overlap, and they cannot start from 0, so you always have to enter something in the first from bar here. And also, if it's the end of the song, you don't have to rely on the last number here. You can write 40 to 10,000 if you want. That just takes to the end. You cannot do the same with the beginning. So we want to have from bar 3 to 7, we want to have silence. So that just means it simply, because when you adjust volume, you actually cannot adjust it so low that you don't hear the notes. So you have to go into the section editor and silence it. And in this way, you can make a song shorter by silencing a lot of tracks or parts, or you can make it start at a different time with the same principle as the end. You can do something else also. So let's look at the volume for this track. We can do a fade in. So let's say 100% fade. That's a full fade. Apply, show volume, and 11 to 22. Oh, wrong section. Wrong section. Like that. And then you can see we have a full fade out. So that's probably not gonna sound super great. So let's do the opposite. Full fade in, minus 100%. And there we have it. And if you want to adjust the volume, you'll see it is relative. It gets applied afterwards. So it's now from there to there, from the lowest volume to the highest volume. And if we want to just for some of it or some of the notes, we can do yeah. First of all, let's check if we just write 70% instead. Then you see it starts not at 0 but starts at something else, or 50%, just to see, so you see the trend. Then it starts from 50% and then goes to 100. You can also do the opposite. You can say 100 minus 150. Then it starts, it skips the two first bars, they get set to 0 or lowest volume. And you can use this to adjust in volume notes that are inside the bar, because it's actually, if you set this to 125, let's see, yeah, like that. Now you can see that in the second bar that we have marked, it's at the lowest volume, and then at second lowest volume, and that happens in the middle of the bar. So if I, for example, took bar 5 instead of 7, so it's more steep, and you can get, if you have many notes, more individual dynamics like that. So we can of course do the same with fade out. If we take fade out of 150%, then you see it will be so steep that it ends before it goes down to the lowest volume before the end of the bar we have marked. there. Then it's easier to see. So at 100, of course, it goes from lowest to highest relative to whatever you have set it to. So if you set it to half, it only happens within that half interval. And if there's nodes inside that are not, this is a simple example because they all the nodes here have the same dynamics, but if you have different nodes with different velocities inside this area, then they will be relative to that. So it doesn't force them to on this slope. So if you have a node in the middle of these marked of this marked section, then it can poke up above this ramp or poke below, depending on what the MIDI velocity of the node has been. So that's pretty much it for this video. That was just silencing and fading in and out, and we already have covered volume. Oh, about volume, there's one more thing. I mentioned it uses the MIDI volume of 0 to 127. That doesn't mean that you cannot actually put in more than that. You can put in 200 if you want. And as you can see, then it goes much higher. The reason you can put in higher than 127 and lower than lower than 0 is because, of course, this slider here is putting an offset on the volume, so you sometimes need to put it higher than 127 or lower than 0. So experiment with that if you want. That's enough for this video. See you.